Hi everybody, this is Christine Bertram and I'm coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Happy Thursday everybody. It is, what is it? It's Thursday, May 6th. It is my grandma's birthday and you think I would remember how old, but I think she's 88. Maybe she's turning 89 and she was 88 last year. I just know that it's around 88 or 89. Oh man, to be that old. And she still gets around and has a memory like a steel trap. That's where I must get it from. So, yeah. So we're here live from the Hive. There it is. It came up right away. Life is good. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Sandy. Life is good when the Facebook Live comes up right away. Hi, Colleen. So, you know what I was really looking for was my class sign-up sheet, because when I want to do roll call, yeah, that's what I need to find. Usually I have it sitting right next to me, but I gotta think about where it's sitting. When we get that far, somebody remind me to look for it harder. Hi, Linda. Hi, Marjorie. Hi, Stacy. Wow, we have a lot of stuff. I'm looking around at what's around me right now, and I'm like, oh, there's a little bit of a lot to show you guys before we get making cards for the well-suited. Hi, Gwen. Hi, Lynn. So it's well-suited night tonight. So in a moment or a few moments, we'll get to working on putting these cards together. They are not the easiest of cards to assemble. Hi, Randy. I learned this in class on Saturday. Hi, Ellen. Hi, Carol. Hi, Tammy. So luckily, I had a very small class on Saturday afternoon. It was actually 2 people, which was a small class, but it was really good because I would consider them my guinea pigs. They helped me figure out how I was going to be mentally prepared for my Wednesday night class. Hi, Jeannie, which was last night. And we had, I think, it was 12 or 10 or 11. It was a couple people couldn't make it at the end for various reasons. So, but it was a bigger class, and with all the little pieces, hi Arliss, with all those little pieces that are in that suspender card, whew, that table, whoever was working on that card needed a lot of attention all the time because it's very step by step. So I'm trying to make myself a mental note that when we start that card, and maybe we'll do it first, that I have to go very slow, especially for you guys that are making cards with me. I generally cruise right through things because I go, you guys know me, you know my style. I go pretty fast because there's always the replay that you can catch, and I give you guys a PDF tutorial, and hopefully you've done a little stamping ahead. But I have mentally prepared myself to try to go slow for that card. So, oh, hi Cindy. So we are going to do the well-suited cards in a moment, and I have those cards here. So we're going to be making these 4 cards. They're awesome. They're awesome. So they're going to be fun to make together, and we'll do those shortly. But I also, hi Ethel, I like to show you guys what has come in the mail recently and what Kelly did for Technique Thursday. But oh my gosh, you guys. So Sandy's watching. Hi Angela. Look what Sandy sent me. So she sent me a little guy, and she said here, this is the Happy Bee Gnome. He is the keeper of the hive, and this beautiful honeybee card. But look at the dude. Oh my gosh, he's adorable. Or I would say adorbsy. Yeah, look at, he's a little gnome. And so he is the keeper of the hive. I was petting his beard earlier, just making sure he's all nice and trimmed up good for us. So hi, Deb. Hi, Kathy King. So this is what Sandy sent me, and he's got this little hat. So I'm gonna find the perfect spot for the keeper of the hive. Our Happy Bee Gnome. But isn't that gorgeous? So Sandy, I wanted to show everybody. He came today, and your card is just beautiful here. I love it. You know what? I don't even know if I'm going to look at all the Stella on that bee. This is the kind of a card I will put this on display up in the hive with all my honeybee stuff. Hi, Mo. So thank you so much. I love him. He's so soft. And so we're going to put this back here so that he's back here hanging out, watching out what's going on. I love that he stands upright. I also wanted to show you guys what cards I've got in the mail. This one came from Christy Warren from Washington. So she was the lucky winner of, so this is, she wrote in here, she completed her scavenger hunt. So Christy, I got it. And she won this Inspired Thoughts bundle, one of my favorite new bundles out of the annual catalog. She won the bundle from game night. So she wanted, hi Sherry Martin, she wanted to send me a card made, hold the card up so we can case it. Oh yeah, I think that you're talking about this one. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Stacy, so I'll hold both of these up. This is the honeybee card that Sandy made, and then this is Inspired Thoughts or Inspired Canopy dies, and Christy won this bundle during game night. So, yay! So very, very pretty. So you guys, hi Donna. Oh, the bee one. So there you go. You got both of them, Stacy. So you should be able to take a screenshot of that really quick if you wanted to. She used some of that bee paper from sale-a-bration from last year. So I have this set. I absolutely love the honeybee set. So yay. Okay, so here's these cards, and I have another card I want to share with you guys. This is from Melanie Foy. Oh, you're welcome, Sandy. This is from Melanie Foy. She loves the lives that we do, and you guys, it's my enthusiasm and positivity. I love it. I love spreading that to all of you guys. So she had made, this was from a paper pumpkin last May. And so it's awesome. She wrote a little note so I can use the card, which I love. And then this one came from Arliss. And then Arliss made this beautiful dandy garden dragonfly. And this is a fun fold, you guys. Hi, Jean Maxwell. Hi, Jody. So this folds up when you get it just right. It does stand on its own. You just, the folds have to get just right. And he will stand. I got it. So that's what it looks like. Hi, Cheryl Thomas. And so this card, I'll do a nice screenshot here. Thanks for sharing me in the Stamp Junkies, Gina. I appreciate it. So I'll hold this up here close so you guys can see it. It's not a complicated card. I did a card just like this for my Fun Folds class maybe a year ago. I don't remember which one it was. But you have a piece that folds like this, and then there's a little bit of a lip here that attaches, and then there's a lip there, and then it comes up and down. So very cool, fun fold. Love it. Thank you, Arliss. And then we have here from Mo. Mo had a cutest little envelope here, and she sent me, so Mo, I got your card today with all your payment. Thank you. I appreciate it. And look at this beautiful card. I love it that the circles match on this, and she did a fun fold. Oh, I haven't got a love note. I got to read that yet. So I just took the checks out so that I could show everybody the cards, Mo. So I'll read that in a second. Well, after class. So she made the birds purple for me. I know it. And she did the ribbon like Kelly loves to do the ribbon. I love it like frilly like that. So awesome. Hey, Heather Brenner. Okay, so that's what I've gotten in the mail recently. So I always love to show off the happy mail that I get from you lovely ladies. I love it. So the other thing I always like to show on Technique Thursday or on Thursday nights are the cards that Kelly did. So Kelly did a Technique Thursday. It was a hero-inspired Technique Thursday. She did this and she planned this along with tonight because, well, she did them today because tonight's class features the Well-Suited bundle. And yeah, it's beautiful ribbon, right? So, Mo, I love it. So, back to this card real quick. There are no purple birds, but in my world, these are the most beautiful birds around because they are perfect to me. Hi, Loretta. Okay, so Handsomely Suited is what the class is for tonight. So Kelly and her mom, Karen, who's my godmother, they worked at this on Sunday. So they prepped all these and did the video Sunday because she always does it ahead and then airs it on Thursday. So she and her mom, Karen, went to town putting all of these cards together. So if you guys haven't seen the Technique Thursday for today, go into either Cards by Christine Facebook page, the VIP, or the Stamp and Game Night. All those groups have this. And so she made a firefighter card. And hi, Mary. She did a doctor card. And she asked me what to make his tie. And I'm like, well, with me going to Hawaii in about a week now, I said, make it like a Hawaiian tropical tie. Hi, Karen. And then she used the heart dies here. And the stethoscope. I think that's a stethoscope. Mom, midnight. It's Misty Moonlight and then mixed with the Hawaiian. So here's your awesome doctor shirt and suit coat. And here's her army inspired one. I told her, this is my little joke here. I said, you should have had some little black hairs coming out, like he had a little hairy chest. So this is a little piece of vellum over the top of this, and that would have been perfect. But no, the card's perfect just the way it is. She made her own background stamp. So Kelly, now that I think about it, I forgot to send Misty Moonlight with Mom for you. I completely forgot. So she's coming back in tomorrow. So this is her army inspired card, and then her police card. So we know that the silver foil is it's gone now, but we love silver foil a lot. So we're going to keep using silver foil if we need to. Hi, Naughty Nancy. Hi, Carmen Melendez. All right, so that was her police card. Here's our sheriff card. All right, isn't that one a cool one too? Just all the different elements that went into all these cards. They are gorgeous. Kelly and Karen did a great job. My favorite one, of course, though, is our UPS delivery man. A couple people were asking where the UPS guy, this logo comes from. Hi, Julie. We just went into the internet and found one and shrunk it down, printed it in color paper, just colored ink. And then this was the old style, the boxes that you could get. So yay, that's my favorite one because he's my hero, because he delivers all of our Stampin' Goodies that make us happy all the time. So Kelly, great job on your Technique Thursday cards. They are phenomenal. No stamping on any of these, guys. So it really gives you a new light for the dies. Now, if the stamps didn't get, trip your trigger, she did all of that, and her mom, Karen, did all of that with these dies. So these dies and the stamp set are available through June 30th or while supplies last as it gets closer. So after tonight, and after seeing these cards, you might be inspired to get both of these things or just one of them. So yes, I love and respect all of these people that do all these different these services for us, but he comes almost every day to my house. I don't have the police coming to my house every day, and I don't drive fast that I get pulled over. So, all right. So the other thing I wanted to share with you guys, look at all this stuff. Oh my gosh. I got some stamps today. So these are some of the new stuff that's available in the annual catalog. It just launched on Tuesday, guys. I had to get the Sharing Sunshine. I love it. I have a swap that I signed up for this one, so I'm going to make some sun cards that will be for the July monthly class. And I have the Tidings and Trimmings class coming up in July, so I had to get that one right away. And Sweet as a Peach is coming up in August. So yes, you guys, when I get back from Hawaii, these are the ones I'm going to be playing with right away. So the annual catalog did go live on Tuesday, and so you guys can order from it now. That's awesome. So I can show you the insides of the catalog as well. So that's pretty cool. Up until Monday night at 1 a.m., I could never show you guys the inside, so it's against our policy. So woohoo to the new catalog. And if you look back there, you can see a Stampin' Up! Box. There's actually 3 of them, and I got in all of the products that I needed for the people who ordered the DSP samplers and the product shares and the first round of the In Color Club. So if you signed up for any of those things, just know that that is what I'm working on now. Between now and Tuesday, my goal is to have all that stuff ready and out by by Tuesday's my goal. Like, it needs to be gone before I leave, and I'm planning to work on that a lot tomorrow night, and then Saturday and Sunday. I know it's Mother's Day, but Mom said, come have lunch with me and then go do work. So I'll try not to put her to work too much on Sunday, right? So, okay, so that's it. So the DSP sampler, I have 2 unaccounted for at this moment. I had to make a decision on how many to make, and so I went with 24, knowing I have 22. People have already signed up for them. So if you are thinking you want one, just know that you should let me know soon, because the next 2 people will get them. And if I end up having to not run another batch of them, I would do it after I get back from the trip. But I sent 24 of them off to my printer, Rachel, and she's working on them now. So for the product shares, I have a few left of each one of them. Basically, I took how many people were signed up for paper or new embellishments, new ribbon. Linda, I'll come back to that question in a moment. And so I have a few of each one left because I round up to however it worked best to like buy the product. So like I had potentially 5 sets and I have 4 accounted for. So I need you guys to sign up if you want any. I bought extra for myself too. So if you guys were thinking about getting paper or ribbons or embellishments, please sign up for that. Reach out to me and let me know so I know. That stuff will all be shipping out by early next week. So Linda just asked me if I got my taxes done. I knew somebody was going to ask me. I got almost everything done except for I have about an hour's worth. The main thing was my expenses. So the expenses was the hardest thing because as of June of last year, like June 30th, was when I kind of fell off the bandwagon of tracking my expenses, how TurboTax likes expenses tracked, like advertising, office supplies, rent, all, however they bucketize it. Oh, Gwen, you want a DSP sampler? Perfect. So they bucket it. And so I spent 5 hours since Sunday putting everything into the appropriate buckets, which is awesome because now they're in my Access database, and in my Access database, I can now filter. And so I have about an hour left to put them into the TurboTax software, and then I should be good to go. So stamping took precedence, but I did spend about 5 hours since Sunday working on them, getting all my expenses figured out. You guys, it's a lot of work to keep track of all that stuff. So TikTok. Yes, you're right, Mary. Yeah, so what is today? Thursday. So that means that I have like 9 days technically. So yeah, but the hour, I just need to dedicate myself to sit down at the computer. It's just not the most fun thing to do, working on taxes. So, but good question. Okay, the sign-up special started on Tuesday as well. So if you're not a happy discount shopper or a demonstrator, they're the same thing. Basically, when you sign up to be a demonstrator, you don't have to ever demonstrate anything. You can just get your product at a 20% discount and up to a 25% discount. And there's a special right now that if you sign up to be a happy discount shopper or a demonstrator, it's an extra $30 out of the catalog. So you get $155 for only $99 plus tax. Plus you get a paper pumpkin from the past, and you get business supplies like catalogs and order forms. And if you don't ever want any of that stuff, I actually had Ellen Brover. She was awesome. She sent everything up to me, and I go through catalogs and I go through order forms. So I appreciated that, Ellen, big time. And if you're local to me, people bring them over. And that special started May 4th and it goes through May 31st. So the best thing about it is you get to become part of the Be Happy Stampers if you choose me and you sign up on my team. And it is a lot of fun. We have team meetings and lots of camaraderie, and the community is amazing. So lots of good stuff when you become a bee. So yours aren't done either. Good. I don't feel so bad then, Linda. The other thing that happens starting May 4th and it goes through June 14th is they have a host special. So if you or you and your friends collectively put in an order of $250 on one workshop, you get an extra $25 of host credit. So on $250, it's normally $25, and you would get an extra $25, so you'd get $50 of free product. And you can put that order in all by yourself and get that host rewards, or you can pool it together with some friends and get some orders together and get those host rewards as well. And then remember, if you want to, you can use your order for a class with me in the future. So, woohoo, yay. So that order, the host special is from May 4th through June 14th. So, woohoo. What else do we have? Ink, paper, scissors. You guys, I forecasted 8 extra because after the butterfly class last month, I had about 7 people that reached out to me that asked for them, and I had to say no. So I'm going to show you guys the cards one more time because this is next week, Friday. Kits are going in the mail, I think, tomorrow after work. I'll drop them off. But I have 4 sets that aren't spoken for at this moment. So I got 4 of them that were purchased today, but this is my favorite card. So this is coming up next week, Friday at 5 p.m. Central. If you can't watch the live, don't worry. You can catch the replay. I also sent out PDF tutorials Do you get that if you sign up as a demonstrator before that? Hang on, Linda. I'll talk about that in a second. I think I understand what you're asking. This is the third card, and then here's the fourth card, and you get a goodie bag with some trim and rhinestones. And so I have 4 sets left for either mailing out or porch pickup. So if you're on the fence, get off the fence on this one. And those splinters hurt. And time to make a decision. So I would love to send you out a set. And then also this one is next Thursday, what we're doing live. The Woodland Wonder card, the Love You to the Beach and Back, and then the Sailing Home card. And again, these sentiments, you could use something else if you don't have those sentiments or that particular stamp set. This is the hardest one. I'm really curious how people are gonna improvise on this one if they don't have Woodland Wonder. So yeah, so that's what's coming up next week. So classes are winding down. I have one more Monday and then one Wednesday in person, and then we have Thursday and Friday online. So 4 classes until I leave. Like the countdown is on. So Linda, you were asking if, do you get that if you sign up as a demonstrator? So when you sign up to become a demonstrator or a discount shopper, you get all the perks of a demonstrator and as a customer. So as a demonstrator, you get a 20% discount. And if you, so let's say you put in a $250 order, 20% of $250 is $50. So you get $50 off your order because of your instant income. But then you also get $50 of host credit that you can use towards anything in the catalog. So you get the best of both worlds. When you are a discount shopper / a demonstrator, you get to be a customer, your very best customer, and you get the perks of being a demonstrator. So you get both. So when after you put your starter kit order in, you pick out your $155 worth of product. That does not count towards the workshop. That is your starter kit order. It can be anything that's current. And then after you become a demonstrator, then you can go ahead and place your first order and you get a $250 order together, and then you get that extra $50 of host credit. So the $250 doesn't count towards your starter kit. That starter kit, $155 for $99, is completely a separate order, doesn't bank towards anything, okay? So I think hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, so after we're done making the cards tonight, I'm going to give away the 5 kangaroo cards. So I have the drawing that I did for that. So I pulled out the 5 names. And so we have 5 kangaroo cards. And then we're also going to do a drawing for the top fan. Hi, Anna Rebedu. So I have 68 people who were top fans for the month of April. And I usually do about 1 prize per 20 to 25 people. So we're going to do 3 prizes. So at the end of our show, we're going to do a random number generator and pick 3 people to win top fan prizes. Woohoo! Okay, good. I'm glad I answered that question. So I have it on my list to do the top fans, so we can't forget to do this. Okay, so, oh, that wasn't so bad. There was a lot of stuff that I felt like I had to go over with you guys, and so class schedule though. So we're getting ready here. We're going to do our class for Well Suited. Let me just see one moment. We're going to find where my class schedule went hiding, because I did have it earlier. I want to do roll call. Make sure everybody's here. Because there's no way in heck I can remember everybody. We had about, I think, 30 so I have my calendar. Hang on, guys. I need 30 seconds to figure out where I have my class schedule. Okay, it's not over there. 1 second. We're going to find it. I couldn't see it because my computer was blocking it. Okay, now we're back in business. All right, so roll call for Well Suited class tonight. We have Sandy Wicklander, Leslie McMinn, Kay Warren, Deanna Stell, Carmen Melendez, Mo Stites, Barbara Gwen Petrashek, Angela Knutson, Kathy Beck, Tammy Steckling, Jill McMaster, Melanie Chandler, Brenda Wood, Lynn Beasley, Feline Mays, Wendy Kruger, Faye Gabi, Sharon Posadny, Jeannie Parker, Linda Hodge, Ellen Brover, Loretta Shep, Diane Rongi, Lori Kaiser, Colleen Anaker, Mary Carls, Nancy Billets, Tanya Beisman, Cheryl Thomas, Jean Maxwell, and Naughty Nancy, you transferred into this one because we missed you last night. And Kathy Halloran, we also missed you last night, so we transferred you into the online version. So, woohoo! How many is that? We have 33 people that have online class tonight with me, so that's awesome. Okay. Yay, you guys are reaching out that you're here. That's awesome. Oh, we always got to leave to go to dance, but that's okay. You make sure that you catch the replay of this, and I'm going to do the hardest card first because we don't want to wait till the end of the night to do that card last because I don't want to mess anything up. So, okay. So what do we have for well suited? I'm going to flip or still skin the camera down and show you what's going on with well suited. It is a really teeny tiny little suite. There's not much in here. If you go to pages 66 through 67 of the mini catalog, it has the stamp set, the dies, it has the threads, or the little linen threads, or the baker's twine, and navy and basic gray. So when I designed my cards, I tried to make sure I used both of those, and I did. And then it's the designer series paper right here. And that designer series paper is what is the, I think I liked the best out of this. Where is the, there's a sheet of it that I gotta show you. Well, we'll find it. Oh, it's right here. It got, everything gets covered up. So this is the designer paper. This is called the DSP sampler. So well suited, and then these are the reverses. And I use that paper, that one, and both of these. So I did really good, I thought, at trying to use almost the majority of all the paper patterns from the designer series paper. So there's only 4 things in this suite of things. And if you guys have your annual catalog, the easiest way to find it in the annual catalog is go to the index, and it's actually called Handsomely Suited. It's so crazy that they'll name them different things. Like the stamp sets and the dies don't really match so good sometimes, so they don't start the same. So on page 50 of the new annual catalog is where the stamp sets is referenced here, and page 166 is where the dies are. So this is, we got to remember to do our top fan. So I'm going to bring that back right there. So these are the 4 cards we have. This one I called the meaty card. There's a lot of pieces in here, guys. This one is a little bit of a fun fold, as well as this. Not crazy fun fold, but different than a normal card. Now this one is the one my mom was calling a gourmet card. And gourmet, she was helping me pack these up. And there's a lot of bits and parts that go with this card. It's like a trifold like this. And I get a lot of inspiration on Pinterest. And what I saw on Pinterest was this kind of a layout. But this is very common, how you'll have a shirt with suspenders. But how this goes together is something I formulated in my head so that you wouldn't see designer paper and you'd have an inside. Some of the cards I saw didn't have an inside. They just had 2 flaps, then you could put a white sheet on the back, but I wanted to have it open like a regular card. So, and I wanted to show you, I brought both of these samples out here because I made a mistake on one. Like, I cut that wrong. And that's why it's really, we're going to do this one first, so you guys don't make any mistakes, hopefully, and learn from my mistakes. So let me grab my kit here of all my papers. You guys, this is also a kit where my mom, she put all of your little bits and parts in a little poly bag for you so that you wouldn't open up and buttons would be flying all over the place. So for me though, I gotta be careful here because all of my stuff is loose in here. So we're gonna go over your pieces first so that you make sure you have everything. So you have your card base. There's a Night of Navy card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You also have another sliver or piece of Night of Navy, and this one has, it's 5.5 by 5.5. So it's a regular square, and it's scored here at 4 1/4, which is gonna make for your A2 card. So this has a little flap here, just like that. That was gonna help make our base, okay? You should have a piece of designer paper for the plaid shirt on the inside. You're gonna have a piece of plaid that looks just identical, but that little piece is for the inside. So I glued it on, oh, I got a little glue ball there, hang on. Let's get that off of there. Okay, so that, instead of stamping more stuff on the inside, because I only had a certain number of stamps I could work with, I didn't want to use the same stamps on every card. So on this card, I put a little piece of the designer paper down there to match. So you guys have a little sliver of that. It's just a scrap, basically. You have a piece of designer paper that is this gray pattern for the outside, and it's got the V cut. So when you look at this card, used almost every die in here except for the tie and the bow tie. So this V, I used this die to cut out your V like that. So I just ran it through the machine just like that to cut that out. And let's put that back. So you should have this gray piece. Thank you to Anna Rebedew and Pat Torres. You guys give them a round of applause. They cut all your pieces out for me to help me out. So this is the little collar that got cut out. It matches that paper. That was cut out with, oh, I don't know where, oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, I was looking for an outline, but it's this piece right here is what cut that out. And you should have a pocket in both basic gray and the Night of Navy. So this was the die used for this pocket right here. And one pocket goes on the inside and one pocket goes on the outside. You're gonna have a little sliver of paper that is 3/8 of an inch. And I did already banner punch the end of it for you. So when I cut it long enough so that if this was short like that, I would never have been able to fit it in there. So I made sure to cut it long enough that I could actually hold it in the punch like this. I have my fingers all the way in there. So when you guys stamp your sentiment on there, stamp it closer to one end. If you choose to put a sentiment on, I had a bunch of gals last night that didn't put sentiments on because they liked the look without the sentiment. So that is going to be completely up to you. We're going to make the card without the sentiment so you can see what it looks like. But all right, hi Char. So you see what I did there. I was just trimming it till I got it where I want it. But I already had banner punched your end, and then you're just going to cut off the left side once you've stamped your sentiment. You're the Best does come from this set right here. I already stamped mine in basic gray. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but there's the You're the Best in there. Okay, so you have a little white piece like that. You should have 2 Night of Navy suspender straps. So there's only one die in there. So Anna, bless her heart, she cut everybody 2 gray and 2 navy. And thank you to Heather Brenner for lending me your dies so that Anna could do 2 of them in a pass. So that is, you get one of these suspender straps, and it's also can be used for, like, it's not just suspenders, it's the collar or the little down the middle thing where the buttons attach. Okay, so you should have 4, 2 gray and 2 navy. This guy right here is actually the top of the tie, but the way I did it is I made it look like it was a handkerchief coming out of the pocket. So that goes with that. You have 2 of these little claspsies. They are for the inside. They're the suspender clasps. So you should have 2 of those. And then one of these guys, it is this die right here. And what you'll do is you're going to actually cut that in half. So that's why you have 1. So 1 is enough when you cut it in half to put it on each side. And what else? Oh, the buttons. Oh my gosh, you guys, the buttons. Poor Anna. Oh, she cut out so many buttons for you. So this is the button die. It makes 6. And she cut out, we put 9 to 10 of them. I don't know. If I counted 9 and I lost track, I put 10 in. You really only need about 8 to 9 buttons. So you're going to have buttons in your little baggie, but they come 6 on here. She said the trick with this button die is there's no little hole. So like in this case, there's these little holes that you can take your pokey tool and poke the paper out. Well, with this button die, there's no little holes here. Did you have enough? Yes, Anna. There's this many buttons left over after class is done. we still had this many buttons left over. So thank you, thank you. Yes, plenty of buttons left over. So with this one, she said what she did is she put tape to help pull them out. So after they were die cut, just put a little bit of washi tape on, and that kind of pulled all the buttons out. But thank you, Anna, so much for all that die cutting. She does the little tedious stuff, and then Pat does more of the big stuff. So we have a system worked out for that. So that's all your, oh, you also have a white piece. The white piece is for your inside mat. So you guys, there's really not a lot of stamping on this. When I designed this card, I was really trying to appeal to my, like, really the online gals, you guys, because you don't have to worry about having so many stamps. And then you still get a card that looks exactly like mine. And yes, Anna, I'm sure it was really hard to keep track of buttons. She made 48 times 9 sets of buttons, or 9 buttons times 48 sets. So the only thing you really have to do for this card, gals, is stamp your anything on that little white strip, and then if you want, you can stamp a sentiment right here. And I think that I'm gonna, because somebody's gonna win this card. Maybe I'll leave it blank on the inside, because then whoever gets this card can stamp a sentiment if they want, or they can use "You're the best" for anything. But thank you works, or a happy birthday to you, or to one of the world's greatest dads, or happy Father's Day. So all of those stamps will work really good with "You're the best." So for me, I'm gonna just leave it blank and let whoever wins it use it for however they want to. So for this guy, we're gonna start with this one first. I cut this little strip here to fit in your white, hi Joanna, on your white mat. So pick your adhesive of choice, if it's liquid glue or if it's your tape runner, whatever you guys like to use. And we're gonna just adhere that right on our bottom here. Now, if yours is a hair over, don't worry, you can trim off. I think you guys, I feel like a broken record when I say that, but I know I have some people that are new to me when they get kits and they don't always know that I do intentionally trim my pieces over by a hair so that you can trim them versus having them short. So there's our inside, and the card base, you can fold that, and then it's already scored at 4 1/4. So you're gonna burnish the edge with your bone folder. Now that is going to make the inside of our card. So when you open this up, that's the base right here. So let's just go ahead, we'll glue it in right away. Stamp, you guys, I always recommend though, if you're gonna stamp something, stamp it before you start gluing anything. Because then if you stamp it bad here, you can always flip it over and then stamp on the other side. But because I decided I'm not gonna stamp anything, I can go ahead and put this in the inside. Okay, and that's in this 8.5 by 11, just like that. Okay. We're gonna set this off to the side for now because we really aren't gonna do much more with this right now. We're gonna work on the inside of our card, and I'll flip this open so you guys can see the inside. So both of my insides are basically the same, except for you're gonna see a difference in I cut this one wrong, bad, and this one I cut right. And I'm gonna show you how I did that. So we're gonna leave this one open for now. Okay, and we're gonna work on that. So the first thing I'm going to do is attach, so this piece right here, grab your bone folder, you're gonna burnish the edge. Okay, so that's simple, easy peasy, right? So what's gonna happen is this piece is gonna get glued in here, like that. And eventually this will get glued onto here. That's how this is gonna work. But we wanna build our suspender scene make our shirt here. So what you can do after you've burnished it with your bone folder, is you can go ahead and I'm gonna put a little bit of liquid glue on the inside flap, okay? So did you see what just happened there? We made our flap, so it's like this would be a normal card if there was more paper here, but we cut it off, and this becomes our flap for behind this piece right here. So we're gonna set that in here. And I'm gonna try to get it flush on the top. My thing is that when people hold cards, they always see the top first versus the bottom. So I always make sure my top is flush. And it's gotta sit in there and be able to fold. So you don't want to try to wedge it in there, you want it to come right up to that score line and just have that sit in there. Now, when I cut this designer paper, I cut it at 4 1/4, but because it's in this nook here, it's out a little bit, so you're going to have overhang here. I wasn't gonna try to guess how much of this overhang there is for everybody's cards, so I knew that was the case. You also may have overhang on the bottom, because when you cut a sheet of paper in half, depending on where your measurements are on your cutter, you may be a hair over 5 1/2 or a hair under 5 1/2. So I purposely cut all of these pieces a hair bigger than what they needed to be so that you guys wouldn't be short. So you may have to trim the edge, and you may have to trim the edge here. So make sure the top is flush and make sure that you're in here all the way when you're adhering it, and you're gonna grab your paper scissors. Now, I know not all of you are good at using a scissors or feel comfortable cutting a straight line. So you have two options. You can figure out, well, how much is this? Where's my little ruler? Right here's, oh, that's not a ruler. I don't know where my steel ruler went. Oh, there it is. He's hiding not where he's supposed to be. So you guys could take your ruler, you could figure out, okay, well, how much is that? Okay, it's not a lot. It's less than 1/8 of an inch. So you could take this out, put it in your paper trimmer, and you could set it up and cut it at just like 1/8 of an inch and go for it. You could. Or if you trust yourself and you're good with the scissors, you could also use this Night of Navy piece as a guide and just follow it as close as you can up the edge of the paper, and that will cut it off as well, and it'll keep it so that it matches it. So now the thing is, you got to stay right next to it so that you get a straight line. Okay, now on the bottom too, I have just like a little bit that needs to be trimmed off, and I'm just going to take my scissors so that it's not showing. Okay, now again, you could have taken your trimmer and just done a little bit off, but then you might be guessing how much you're gonna trim off. Okay, so now you've got that trimmed down, and you've basically you got a book started here. You're gonna be a normal, so eventually this is gonna get glued right onto here. So we're not doing it yet though. We're gonna build, but I'm just trying to give you a little direction on what might happen next. Okay, so now you're gonna take your little collar here. Let's go up here at the blue. You can see there's the collar. So I liked my collar to look like it was popping out at the bottom. So I'm putting a little dimensional on the bottom of each peak so that that pops out. But then I'm gonna put liquid glue at the top. So don't be afraid to use multiple types of adhesive on a card or like on one thing that you're gluing down or adhering. It's really okay to do multiple. I like the top to look flat and I wanted the bottom to look popped out. You guys have to be very, very, very careful with that little bit right there. That might break on you. And it did on me on I don't know if it was this card or a different one. One of them, this one, it popped open. I don't know, you can see I'm lifting it up here. Just take a little bit of liquid glue and pop it right back down if that happens. But what you're going for is you're trying to center this, because eventually that's what's going to be showing through here, the middle. If you want to, grab a ruler out, but I'm an eyeballer and I'm eyeballing about that much, and that's kind of where I'm going to go with it. If you're a ruler kind of person, you can use a ruler, but you can't guarantee it's going to work out good. So I'm eyeballing it. So my dimensionals are popped up, and then on the top is gonna be flat. There's so much detail, Amy, yes. So two finger widths. So now you've got your collar, and you can see the bottom is popped up, the top is flat. Now I'm gonna take my scissors. You wanna trim out the neck, where the area where the neck is, right here. Okay, so that little V gets cut out. If you forget to do it, that's okay. You'll just see more shirt behind there, which isn't the worst thing. On one of my cards, I think I did that. But if you're gonna notch that out, because eventually this is gonna get glued on here and it's gonna look like he's wearing a little blue undershirt, okay? So now we've got the collar on. Now we're going to work on our pockets and suspenders. And there's a good order for it. One of my cards, I put the suspenders down first and I realized, oh crap, there's a pocket underneath there. So you will want to put your pocket underneath the suspender. The other thing too that I saw people doing is they were putting pens and pencils in their pocket. And the pencils and pens, you get them by, remember our Label Me Fancy punch that I did for Tip Tuesday a while back? There's a little sliver there. And then using the umbrella builder punch, you can make yourself a little pencil and pen and put it in there. Super cool. Okay, so we're gonna glue our little pocket down. He's flat. I don't pop him up because the suspender is going over. And I'm gonna got like eyeball generally right about there is where it's gonna go. And it's close to the edge. So we're gonna go right about there. So the reason I had you glue it into your card is so that when you trim that off, that would be gone. Had you not trimmed that off, then your pocket might have gotten too close if you would have to trim that off in a bit. Hi, Melanie Foy. Okay, so now our suspender straps, the spendies, as my dad would say, spendies. Gotta get my spendies. So this die is longer than 5.5. It's actually, I think it's at 6 inches. Yep, 6 inches. So I did not have Anna cut them at 5.5 because I didn't want them to be too short for you. So she cut them the normal size, which is 6 inches. And so you're gonna have a little bit of a suspender overhang going on. And that's okay. We're gonna trim our suspenders. So one of them is gonna get adhered on this side and one's gonna get adhered on this side. Oh, mine are short, haha. Oh man. Okay, it's okay. So I must have used a shorter piece of paper to cut mine out, but you guys have full length suspenders. I know that. You don't have any short suspenders. So what you're gonna do is you're going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the suspender back. So don't glue all the way to the bottom because you're gonna have it overhanging and then you're gonna get glue everywhere. So just remember that little bit is gonna get cut off. So what you're gonna do is get it a little bit closer to the left. It's like I didn't center mine between the edge of the collar and the edge of the card. I kind of went a little bit closer to the edge of the card. You can see mine's overhanging about 1/4 of an inch. So you're gonna adhere that down on this side. And then you can do this now. Oh, I'm losing all my stuff. You can do that now or you can do it later, but you're just gonna trim off the end of the suspender strap like that. And then you're gonna do that. Oh, I should have saved that because I might use that. Well, let's see how mine, when I cut mine shorter for whatever reason. So that's gonna get glued down, but then your suspender, hi Brenda Little, this little guy's gonna get put down. So you know what, I'm not even gonna worry about it. You won't notice it at all. So the next one, take your other suspender strap and put your glue on the back of that one. And I always start at the top because people see the top first and then they go to the bottom. That one, you're going to go the same distance away from this side as you did that side. So they're kind of even. And then for your card at home though, you're gonna have to trim your end off again. All right. I don't have to trim mine because I cut my piece too short. All right, now we have our little suspender. The clasps are gonna go down here and down here. So they are gonna hold our pants up so they don't fall off and moon anybody. So that little guy is gonna go here, like that. And then this one can go on as well. I know in class last night, I think a few people might have attached the clasps to the suspender straps before putting it down. It's a horse apiece, however you wanna do it, but I put the clasps on. And then you have this little guy and he gets cut him in half. And you're gonna notice there's stitching on the left side and there's stitching on the right side. And when you cut it in half, there's no stitching in the middle, sad face. So I made sure to put the stitching to the outer side on both of them. So when you are cutting this, pay attention that you honestly do it however you want, but I wanted to put my stitching so it was on the outside. Okay, so little bit of liquid glue here. And then that's gonna go right up there. So put that right on top there. And so when you go to do the other side, you can stay, so I have a pattern right here, or the horizontal line. I'm gonna stay right above it on the other side. You can use that for a guide. Okay, a little bit of glue on that side, keeping my stitching to the left. Tweezers work really good, guys, for this one. And it helps if you don't break your nails. I broke it on a stamp case, guys. I caught it on a stamp case and it cracked way down here, and I had to trim that poor little guy off. And now I'm contemplating having to trim all of them. Isn't that crazy? So that it's weird having one short one amongst all the rest being long. So next are our buttons. As my brother would say, buttons. Okay. I would recommend putting little dots of glue here. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 looks good. You have one at the top to hold the shirt together. And if you're a measurement person, you may want to measure, but I'm going to be an eyeballer. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 more. And so I'm just going to put a little dot of glue every so often here. Boom, I'm good with that. So this is where tweezers might work good. This pokey tool with the putty end works good. So now you can pick that up and put that on. Grab another one. It's so hard to put the glue on the back of these buttons. So that's why I chose to put the glue. Now glue dots could work, but glue dot is gonna make it pop up a little bit long or higher. I just want, see, and the less is best. I have a little glue oozing out action going on. Hi, Judy Bobo. And one last one here. Try not to squeeze all that glue out. I put a little bit too much, so we're just gonna wipe some of that up. And then we'll grab our adhesive eraser, get rid of it. So there are 5 buttons, and now, if you want a Stella, go for it. I'm going for it. We're gonna put a little Stella action on the buttons. Whatever guy gets this card, he will probably not even realize there's Stella on here, unless he's very attentive to the detail. And we're gonna do the clasps. If the man that you're giving this to, or person that you're giving this to, does not appreciate the Stella, I wouldn't do the Stella. All right, so we've got our inside done. And let's see here. I'm gonna grab my adhesive eraser and just try to wiggle off some of that glue. All right, are you guys keeping up okay? Did I go slow enough? I felt like I was slow enough. I tried to explain really good, just so you guys know how to, that's it. Like, it's all Arts and Crafts 101, second grade assembly. Like when I was in, I think, school back in the day, putting things together. I couldn't do this if I was in second grade, though. I promise you I can't. But I feel like this takes us back to, like, there's no stamping on here whatsoever. So now we're going to work on the front of our card. So that's our inside. Set that over here. We're going to work on the front. So let's flip this and move on to, so this was my dad. You guys, my mom was over. She stopped over today. And she goes, did you design this after your father or your dad? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, because he has a shirt just like that. I'm like, I think every guy has a shirt like this. Apparently, whoever designed this for this designer series paper, what I heard is one of the Stampin' Up! Designers or artists went to his closet and pulled out all of his dress shirts, and this is what he mirrored this paper off of, was his dress shirt. All of his dress shirts in the closet. Okay, so now we're gonna go to Mr. Rogers, though. I know it's not blue or red, but it's gray, and this reminds me, hi Kathy back, this reminds me of Mr. Rogers on the outside. All right, so now you have your other 2 basic gray suspenders straps, but I used them for the trim on his sweater. And how it's gonna start is we're gonna glue one of these down here, and then we're gonna glue up here. So, I had to guess about where, I showed you guys, I personally cut all these myself. So we're gonna have, hopefully everybody's good. So there was a little bit of a wiggle room. I tried to make sure they were all centered left to right that way. But in some cases, like here, I cut mine down halfway. And I think on some, I might have gone up. You know, there's a little bit of a 1/4 inch wiggle room, I think, on how I cut them. So we're gonna hope that everybody's turns out good and we're successful with that die cutting action. So what I would do is run a little bit of glue from the point here down to the bottom of the card, just a straight line down. I would not try to put glue on this because you're going to be guessing how much glue to put. And as I'm putting this down, I'm going to run the end of this up in the glue just to get a little glue on the end of it. And that's going to go from the peak or the valley. That's actually a valley. Just from the valley. And you're going to go to the end and you just try to make sure it's straight. And give that a second to adhere. Hi, Karen Wetstein. All right, so that's going to sit right like this. Hi, Chris Duderenke. All right, then you're going to take your paper scissors and you're going to trim off the end. And you're going to need to save this because you need the rest of what's here to do these next two pieces. So what you need to do is one of these pieces is going to go, and we're going to actually put the one that's the rolled edge down here, and the other, so that's going to be used there. And you need this other piece to do the other one. The thing I learned in class is when I gave instructions, I said that this needs to get glued on here like this. It doesn't mean that it has to match this line right here. You are most concerned about meeting this edge and this edge with our bottom edge and going to the end here. You aren't worried about, like, it's gonna hang over like that. It's not gonna be perfectly aligned. If you try to align it with this edge, that is not gonna meet up here nicely. You want it to line up like that, and then don't care about this because you're gonna eventually cut that out, and you cover it up because of the way I designed the card. You won't even see the back of that. So what I would recommend doing, and don't put the glue on the back of this because it's going to have some overhang. What I would recommend doing is a little bit of liquid glue up this edge right here. So you saw that I just put a little bit of glue, and I'm going to take the side that I didn't cut, and I'm going to put that so that the edges align there. And I want to just make sure I'm kind of centered. So like half of it's on and then half of it's hanging over, because that will close the gap to make it look like it's not such a big V-neck. And you want to make sure you get all the way to the end here with that. And you don't worry about that because you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to trim that off like that. Okay, you might have a little bit more to cut off depending if I made your V up a little higher. Okay, so there's one. And now you have a second piece here. And you're going to do the same thing. Now this one is going to, you want to make sure this one hits on this side right here and goes up like this. And we're going to put a button right over that seam or right around that seam. People aren't going to see that seam so much. So don't worry that it's going to be exposed. It is what it is. It's too hard to, you can't really get one piece that's going to just curve down and not have that. And it's just how the sweater gets put together. So we're going to put a little glue here and work your way up to the top there. And make sure you got the, so there's two sides to the die cutting here. This soft rolled edge, and then there's a rough edge. You want to make sure that the rough edge goes down. And you're going to, I'm aligning this side with this corner right here. And you're going to put that up here like that. Okay. Give that a second so you can see here that I've got this gray overhanging. Don't worry, this gets covered up. You're not going to even see that. So then you take your scissors, snip that off. Do what you want with this piece. I didn't intend for it to be used for anything. I just wanted to, I gave you two pieces so you had enough to do these three chunks. Okay. All right, pocket. So what I did, you want to Stella the little handkerchief. This little blue thing is the handkerchief. Well, that's what I called it. It might not be, it's really the top of the tie, but what I like to do is pop things up a little bit. So you have a couple options. You could glue this all flat on here. Or what you could do is grab a glue dot, and we're going to attach, where are my glue dots? On the back side. We're going to attach what I'm calling the handkerchief to the back of our pocket. So I put a little glue dot on the end here, And then we're gonna attach this. And then we're gonna pop up the handkerchief. So just one little dimensional on the back of the handkerchief. And you can take off the backing already. And I want the rest of it to be flat though, okay? So we're gonna put a little liquid glue around the entire pocket here, but not where the dimensional is. So we're gluing our pocket flat, but we popped up our little handkerchief. Oh, you guys, look what I just did. I put the pick tool in my glue thing. Wasn't even paying attention. Okay, so then figure out where you want your pocket. And everybody's lines are gonna be different depending on the designer paper. So you might have your white line a little bit closer to the edge or further away. But what I'm doing is I'm centering my peak between this one right here. So right there, if you end up on a line, you could center it on a line, but I think it fits really good centered. I mean, most people are never gonna notice where you put the pocket, but I'm centering it between those two white lines. And then you wanna make sure you hold the edges down for a second so that that glue can bond with the designer paper. And hi, Nancy Charles. Then your little your handkerchief thing is popping out, and then the pocket is glued down flat. You wanna really give it a good press so that this pocket, so you can see here, the little, oh, I should have used a black dimensional, but there's the little dimensional right there. So my little handkerchief thing is popped up and my pocket is down. So it makes it look like the pocket has something in it. Then our buttons. So here's where you have an option. Some people chose last night to not put the sentiment on, and some people chose to. I guess it's whatever you want. I mean, the card looks so cool without the sentiment as well. But what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put one button. So you can choose where to put your button, how it ends up. Like that will cover up the seam a little bit. Let's hold this up. So you can see that button is covering up the seam a little bit, but it might not look the best right there. So it actually might look better right above the seam. And when you look at this card in a holistic approach, you'll never even notice that there's a seam right there. So put your button where it's gonna look best. And if you wanna go with 4 buttons, you should have 4 buttons left. You would put, there's a top and a bottom to the button. Make sure you find, so the button on the top has a little X in the middle of it, and the back side looks like rough cut paper. So I would make sure that you have your little X up to the top. So this is what the card is going to look like. Let's see here. I'm going to show you what the card would look like without a sentiment. Something like that, which looks so cool too. Like sometimes the sentiment can be distracting from what's going on. And I honestly think that this is super cool without having the sentiment. Or if you're gonna do the sentiment, what I might do is take this button off. You're gonna have to trim this, so I would definitely trim off part of that. And then that will go right here. Now, you might think that looks cluttery and doesn't look good. Take it off and then go back to this route. And I think for this card, we're gonna leave it off. And whoever gets this can just stamp something on the inside and make this card whatever they want it to be. So we're gonna do the same philosophy that we just did with the other buttons. And we're gonna put a smaller little glue dot there. You don't want it so big that it oozes out. So come on, little guy. All right, so there, I'm eyeballing it, guys, to get my 4 buttons on here. And grab your putty tool on the end of your take your pick. Make sure your X's are to the top. And just put your buttons right down the center like that. Boom. Stella. Definitely gonna style the buttons. Gonna go for it. Okay. All right, how are you guys doing? Give me some feedback. I see a couple thumbs ups every now and then. I'm curious, how many of you are putting this card together with me right now? Am I going at okay pace? All right, I'm skipping the You're the Best. We saw that. Now it's time for assembly. You guys, we have 3 pieces here, right? We have our normal mat. We have our layer here, and then we have this piece right here. So I'm gonna do the gray first. So we're gonna adhere that to the top of this piece right here. So you have your shirt going on, the flap is back here, and then you have to glue this. Okay, a couple of you guys, awesome. So happy you're with me here. I feel bad for anybody who tries to put this together without watching the video, because honestly, it was really hard to write a PDF tutorial on how to put this together in such great detail. So you guys remember I like to start at the top. So I am gonna make sure my top is flush and making sure my fold side is flush. So top and left here, nice and smooth. Don't worry about this side or this side right now. Okay, now right now, the difference between this is he's wearing a turtleneck right now. And here you can see his shirt through here. So what do you like better? Do you like the turtleneck or do you like the shirt? Personal preference, right? So I like the shirt underneath. So this is where you're gonna grab your little paper snips or your scissors and okay, so this is what I did wrong on this card. So this card was perfect, I did it right. But what I did wrong last time is I cut my V out before I glued it onto the blue. I cut the V out based off of not having the gray down. So that's why I did this one wrong. You can see, bad, not good, okay? So I learned from my mistakes, and then I can teach you how to not do them. So take your scissors, and you're just gonna trace your scissors down as you cut, not trace, but you're gonna snip it as you go down and follow the gray as a guideline here, and get down to the peak, and then that piece will come out, okay? Then your back looks really nice. Look at that, very good. All right, so the other thing though is you wanna wait to trim this, because this little bit of overhang here, you might need that depending on once it gets put on here. So don't worry about overhang quite yet. We'll analyze that at the end. Hi, Wendy. All right, so now we're gonna flip this over, and this is going to get some glue on the back. And I have to, you guys, do you ever get the glue ball on the bottom here? I gotta get rid of it. It gets stuck on my paper. All right, flip this over now, and that's gonna get onto your card base. This is your card base. You're gonna put this on here, and I like to do, so it's flush on the top, so we're gonna go like this, and then flush on the fold side. So this is the true test of how you did good on your centering here. If you centered that good, you're gonna see that really nice there. Okay, so so this is where you have an option. When you open this up, if you don't like to see that overhang here, you could trim it. Nobody's gonna turn it around and be like, oh, it's hanging over the edge. Because if you do cut that off, so on mine, if you hold it just like this, you don't see a lot of the overhang when you hold it like that. So you may decide just to leave it like that, and it's just the back side of the paper. This one, you can see here, let's see here. So on this one, my base is a hair shorter than what this was. So it's a card. Here, I have a saying for you guys. Kelly just made this for me. This is an individually crafted work of art. Any smudges, splotches, or other irregularities are intentional and do not diminish the quality of the piece in any way. Stampin' Up. So that will go right here. And all of that, like, if you have the ability to measure all that stuff and make sure it's perfectly great and aligned before you put it together, great. But it's really hard when you have a half a sheet of paper. Like, so if this was the top half and then this was the bottom half and you don't have it cut exactly at 5.5, one's gonna be longer and one's gonna be shorter. But it's not gonna diminish how the card turns out if you've got a little bit of that hanging over. And if it bothers you, you could take and cut it off, but I, at this point, am not going to because my suspenders are there. So that's our manly man suit and shirt suspender card, guys. That turned out pretty good. So this is to give you an example of what you can do with these dies. And you saw with Kelly's cards, oh, the sky's the limit, you guys. There's a plethora of designs you could do. I'll have to, as long as I've got you guys here, I'm going to just show you really quick. I am on Pinterest. You guys know that. I take screenshots of cards. And this is another one that I saw that was super cute for St. Patty's Day. And then that was a super cute one I thought as well. So I just take screenshots. This is the card that I got inspiration from for this card. Now you can see here though, their inside isn't smooth and navy like that. They use the back side. And I don't remember how Michelle did that, but that's Michelle's card is how I got inspiration. Here's another one with ties. So you guys, this is what I do. I go on, I get ideas, and that's where this card came from. So very good ideas and use of the dies with Kelly's cards and with this. So the other 3 cards that I have don't really use the dies so crazy, except for I use the tie, I think. So, okay. So, that was my mom called that one the gourmet card. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Let's see if I can see you guys. Oh yeah, you can see that. And I'm watching now. You guys see, that's how far behind you are. Now I'm seeing that come up so you guys could see my St. Patty's Day card. Okay. All right. One. John, take a deep breath. Take a drink of water. That was a lot. Okay. Hi, Mary Ann. Okay. So one card done. Woohoo. Now, let's do an easy one. All right. And maybe this won't be easy, but I think it should be. So Pamela Leahy. She gave me this birthday card, you guys. And if you watched my live somewhere like around January 7th, I would have shown this birthday card. So Pamela, I saved your card. I snuck it away and I saved it for a rainy day. And it was when I was designing, it wasn't really a rainy day, but it was when I was designing these cards. So, hi Vicky Pucker. So I used this card to case for this card right here. So you guys will see what I mean. And so let's get that here. So yeah, so you guys see, I completely looked at this card right here. Pamela made it purple with flowers for me. And when I was designing, I'm like, oh, that'll be perfect. So gotta give credit where credit is due. Thank you for that beautiful card, Pamela. So I'm gonna show you guys what we got going on here. So this is, there's, when you do a suite class or when I do hi Heather, when you do a class where I do a bundle, it's really hard to make 4 cards and not repeat stamps. So this is the only card that I pulled in something other than those stamps. And I pulled in a brand new stamp set that is in the annual catalog called Flowers of Friendship. And I pulled in flowers because a lot of you guys have flowers. So I didn't think that this would be too crazy in case you didn't have this particular flower stamp, you'd be okay. So this is what was used along with this is a bundle, and the punch looks like this, has flowers, 2 different flowers, 2 different leaves. Okay. So this was what I brought in extra for this one. Let's get rid of the bag and show you guys what you have in your kit. So you'll have a piece of white like this that's already die cut, and that is from one of my favorite die sets in the world now that I get to use is called Stitch So Sweetly Dies, because you guys, Stitch Shapes is gone. That would be my favorite one. Stitch So Sweetly Dies, it's this one right here. So all of yours are die cut. You'll have to stamp a sentiment on there, which we'll do together. And then what you'll have is a piece of white that looks like this. It's 4 1/4. There is a specific way that we need to stamp this, guys, if you use this stamp set and the punch. And I want to show you that in case you did get this already, that we have to do it a certain way. When they design their punches, they're very squishy with all of their objects that you need to cut out or punch out, and they're not very friendly if you don't know how to operate them. So we have a guide here. So in case you are using this exact same set, we know how to do it. If you have other flowers at home, I gave you a piece of white so you have 3, and then you also have, so you have 3 die cut flower or punched out flowers. You'll have the big one and 2 small ones. They're already punched for you. In case you want to use those flowers and sponge them or blend them, you could easily draw in lines on them and make your own. So you'll have 3 white flowers, 2 small and 1 big. And then you'll have a piece like this. So I'm going to set that because we don't need it. You're going to have a piece of Night of Navy that's embossed. Look at that. that is carrying over. It was in the annual catalog, and it's carrying over. It's from Meadow Moments, I think. So it's a baby die, or not a baby die, a baby folder. So you can use it in your embossing mini machine. And so all of you guys have those already embossed for you. You have a piece of designer paper, 1 and something. Let's see here. 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. So that is gonna get glued onto your basic white piece here. That's what is on our inside. So you'll have this white piece, that's your traditional mat 4 by 5 1/4. You'll have a 3 by 3 designer series paper, 3 by 3, that will get matted onto a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And what else do we have here? You have your mat and a baby bow, and you also have these matte black dots. These matte black dots are carrying over as well. They were part of the Love Suite in the mini catalog, so you guys have 2 little ones and a big one in your kit. And what you have for your card base. I didn't do mine because I wanted to show you how I do it so that you guys learn how you do a card like this. So in your kit, you have, it's 11 by 4 1/4. It's scored at 5 1/2. And I already made your cut for you. I did it on my guillotine, so it was a really nice cut. And you cut it at 2 1/2. So at 2 1/2, so I have my measurement here, 2 and then 1/2. What you're gonna do, if you're doing this at home and you wanna know how I did it, you put your guide at 2 1/2, and then you're gonna use the cutting blade and come right down to the score line. So you wanna score first so you know where the middle is. So this is what you guys have in your kit right now. You have it like this. All right, so I cut it for you, but I was not gonna cut the flap off of all of your cards and have it weird. I wanted to teach you guys how this works. Now what you're gonna do, so you have this, the bigger chunk is your bottom. Oh, you guys, we froze. Ah, we froze, hang on. You guys can see me now. I gotta redo my camera thing. I don't know where we just froze, so I gotta fix it, guys. We know how to do this. I was gonna say at the beginning of class, I'm like, oh, I hope that the technology cooperates with us tonight. So just hang on for me. You guys can probably hear me. Then it unfroze, and let's get our camera back up though. So hang tight for 1 more second, and let's make sure that this works. It's thinking. Okay, let's put this up here. And hang tight for 1 second, you guys. It's still not happy. Hang on. We've had this happen to us, and it has to do with something with the connection of the internet between the phone and the tablet. So let's try it again. I think you guys can see me, and I'm not frozen. I'm hoping not, anyways. So let's see here. Yep. Oh yeah, we're good. You guys can still hear me. I'm trying to talk my way through this. So let's hang tight for a second. And I just have to reconnect this phone. So switcher, pop up, please. Okay. It's a good thing I looked up at the camera because I'm like, it's stuck. Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's get this up here. And do the hand check. When my hands start to move slow, that's when I know we've got issues. All right, we're back on track. So I don't know exactly where we ended on there, but I did see where my cutter was there, and I cut at 2 1/2. So this is how you guys have your kits. They were folded just like this. And what we have to do now is we have to cut this little slip off here. So you're gonna take your scissors. So if you don't like to use your scissors, you don't have to. You could have used a trimmer to do this. So you could grab your trimmer out, and you could, on the score line, you're gonna have to cut it off like that, which that will work. But you can also take your scissors, and you're gonna just cut that off. Okay? So this is extra. You can do with it what you want. Use it for something. There's a lot of good material here. I wouldn't throw it away personally. I would find a use for that someday. Okay, so that's how you get the base like this. So now we've got that. You guys should also now get your bone folder and burnish the edge like that. Now we can do some assembly. So there's a lot of designer paper here, not a lot, but it's more than normal because that needed to go here. So when this arm gets shut, all you see is designer series paper back here. So here's the question for you. What do you want to stamp on your inside? So if you want to find a little sentiment or something small, you could stamp it right in the middle here, really small, or you could set something off the side, but you can do with it what you want. And I honestly didn't put anything on the inside. You can see here, I didn't do anything. I left it blank. It says a happy birthday to you on the outside, and you could write your little love note on the inside. A happy birthday to you is from this set right here, Handsomely Sweeted. And that's what we're gonna do on the outside, and we're gonna leave our inside blank. Now, if you are going to stamp your inside, what I might recommend, or what I will recommend, is use this paper as a guide and figure out where you want to stamp it before you glue it. So don't glue it, just use this as a guide and then stamp it where you want to stamp it. So pretend you're going to stamp, okay, I'm going to stamp it. If you don't like the way you stamp it, then you can still flip this over, use this as a guide, and you still get 2 shots. If you get glue happy and glue this down right away, you only get 1 shot. So make it a good one. But I'm not going to put anything on the inside. Whoever gets this card next week will be able to stamp something on the inside if they really, really want to. So I'm going to make sure I'm flush on my left and my right side. I'm sorry, my left and my top side. And if you guys need to, flip it over from the back and trim off anything that is extra. You shouldn't have to if you got the top flush and the left flush. You should only have to trim anything from the side here. Then flip it over, and we're gonna put a little more adhesive. And then this goes on our inside. Something like that. So far, so good. Then you guys have this mat right here, which is your navy that's embossed. This would be a good one to Stella, but we're not going to Stella it yet because you don't need to Stella where it gets covered up. But we'll Stella it once we get that on. So this, a little bit of adhesive. So this is matted, so it's 1/8 of an inch less on each side. So this just gets put right over the top. Now, yes, it's navy on navy, but I have this embossed, so it's easier to emboss a piece of navy that is a matte than the whole card base. You could have ran this piece right through, but it would have been really difficult to do. So that's why I cut myself a matte to go over the top of it. So it gives it that little bit of extra texture. All right, then we have our squares here, the 3x3 and 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And if you really like, you could put that side up, but we're gonna put that side down. So put a little adhesive here. Hi, Kay Warren. Okay, that is gonna go on here like that. All right. Now, most important thing, you don't wanna make a trick card. So it's important to not put any sort of adhesive right here. We're only gonna put adhesive underneath the area that is gonna attach right here. So how do I do that? I'm gonna take my dimensionals and put 3 of them along the bottom. There's no, I mean, it's one side. There's no top or bottom at this point. And then I'm gonna think, okay, well, it's gonna go here. So I'm gonna put 3 of them along the top here. And I did that good because that's gonna go right there. So the other thing I might do, just for good measure, is put 2 more right there. So what's gonna happen is these 3 are gonna end up here, here, and here. And now I've not gone over the edge, and I've given it a lot of good support to stick good. All right, so now this is where you're going to center this, left to right, top to bottom. Or, you know what, last night Cheryl actually put hers off to the side here, and then you could see more of the embossing on the side. So it's wherever you want to put it. It will look good wherever you end up with it. All right, now this is where I thought we could Stella. So you could grab your Stella and you could Stella the things, these leaves that are popped up, just to give them a little bit of glitz. And the reason we're doing it after we put this squared on is because you don't need to Stella something that gets covered up. So there we go, just like this, little bits of Stella. Okay, then what do we have left? We have to do our label and we have to do flowers. I want to show you guys how I do these flowers. So let's get this over here out of the way. So you get a piece like this. Now, if you don't have these flowers at home, use any flowers that you have. It's really okay. I'm sure that there's lots of good flowers that will work. So we have in here the little flower and we have a big flower and we need our Night of Navy. That's so much stuff, you guys. You think that you're gonna make something and build it big enough and then you can still run out of room. All right, so I've got my Night of Navy ink. And this is my guide. This is what I used in class last night. So one of the important things when you're using a punch is to look at the back of it to see how stuff is stamped, because these make an X and those make a cross, right? So look at how they're positioned. And that's important when you're stamping with a punch. So I'm gonna stamp the big one first. So if you're using this at home, how you're gonna get 3 flowers out of this is by doing it in this manner without having to cut your piece into all these little chunks. So this one is a cross. You see that? Up and down, left and right. So it's perpendicular and horizontal. Perpendicular and vertical and horizontal. I didn't mean like that. Okay, so we're gonna stamp it like this. Just like that. And when you put this in the punch, now you're gonna go this way, or you could go, I wouldn't go that way actually. You have to go from the top, because did you see what happens when you cut it this way? You lose all that white paper right there, which isn't a lot, but it's gonna mess it up. The one thing about these petals is, even though this flower's got a little bit, the petals aren't exactly all the same, they cut out all the same. I don't know if that made sense at all, but if you look at this, they all line up identical. So they are all identical, but the insides are slightly different. Okay, so there you go. We got one flower out. We hardly wasted any paper, which is good. Now we look at our guide. So we're gonna set this off to the side. We look at our guide. Now this flower is in here like an X. So if you go and stamp this little flower like this, that's not gonna fit in the punch really good. So that's why we're stamping this one with an X. And we're gonna stamp one of these as close as we can to this one. So right there, that's good. So what's gonna happen is we'll eventually punch that one, but what we wanna do is we wanna get one way off in this top left corner, and we're gonna get rid of him first. So by doing that, so watch, when you put this one in here, you gotta be as far apart splitting them as possible, because that little leaf will give you hiccups if you stamped this closer or that closer. So we got the one out here, and now what we can do is flip this around and punch this. Now, the other thing that works good too is using little slivers of paper. When I cut it, I cut your paper at 4 1/4, which is half of a sheet of paper. Cutting it at 5 1/2 by 1 1/4 might have been a little bit better use, but I had them all cut at 4 1/4. So that's how you'll get that out if you use this punch. You guys may use a whole completely different flower, and you don't have to worry about that at all. Okay, so those are our flower powers. And now we have our sentiments. So the happy birthday to you comes from the set right over here. And what you'll do is you ink that up, inky dinky do. And let's grab a scratch paper. So I like to use scratch paper just to see if the stamps straight and good. And that looked nice. So now we're gonna go back into our ink. Remember, when you're stamping, don't be afraid of it. Straight down, give it a little squish, not a heavy squish, just enough to let the ink transfer to the paper. As Diane says, we're marinating. And then we should be good. All right, then let's move. I got stuff going on here. That's it for the ink for now. Now you're probably wondering though, hi Barb, you're wondering about the flowers. Do you see how they have this little tint of blue to them? You do that by using your Stella pen, your trusty girlfriend. I'm gonna do this on these guys right here. What you do is you drag the color from the outside of the petal and you bring it in and you brush over the top of that middle blue line as well. Try not to go outside the lines too much if you can, but you want to hit that blue outer line and that will bring that blue color in. The sooner you do this after you stamp, the better results I think you're gonna have, because that blue ink is gonna bleed a lot more. So, and you can see right here, that bled really good there, but I didn't get a lot on that side, so that's where I'm gonna drag more. So if you don't see it bleeding good, just put a Band-Aid on it, right? Nope, you just wanna bring that color back and forth, like there, that's really cool. I'll hold this up so you guys can see it. So you can see here, I've done those three, but I haven't done that one. So that's where the Stella is awesome at coloring in things by using the ink. We got one more here to do, and then we can put the rest of this card together. All right, so when Stella's done, I'm gonna make sure you wipe her out so that she doesn't put blue ink on the next project you work on. So our happy birthday is popped up with dimensionals. So I'm gonna use 4 of them on this one, like that. Pick those off, and I centered this on here. Left to right, top to bottom. And then I used my dimensionals. I put a little baby one right in the nook here of this sentiment label. And I put one right in the nook there. So the big one is gonna go here. This is awesome where you could use your bone folder and you could roll the edges. Don't rip them off. That has happened. But what you do is just gently roll them with a bone folder, kind of like when you do wrapping paper ribbon with a scissors. And you just kind of curl your edges here, like that. And the last one. So the Stella makes it a little damp, the paper, and because it's a solution, so you just, mine's a little wet, so you gotta be careful if yours is wet too, that you don't want it to get soaked. So this guy's gonna go here, and where it hits this white paper, I am gonna put a little bit of liquid glue to help hold it, to secure it, because one little baby dimensional doesn't seem like a lot to me. So I'm gonna put one there, and then that's where that petal's gonna go. And then we're gonna pick that off, and this little guy is gonna go here, and I am gonna put a little bit of liquid glue behind that one petal to help secure that a little bit more. That's gonna go off to the side like that, and then we're gonna put one dimensional in the middle of this one, and he's gonna sneak right in here like that. And I didn't put more glue on him, but I'm okay. We're gonna move him down a hair there, and we are gonna put a little glue right where he's touching the white paper. So there's my whole combination of liquid glue and dimensionals again. Okay, black matte dots, 3 of them. You're gonna use, I gave you in your kits, one big one. Oh, I gotta take it out of the plastic. One big one fits really nicely in the big dude, and then you can put a little one in each of the small flowers. Like that. I love it. Okay. Then you have a little baby bow. So I made them all for you. That I did. And it's using the navy twine like this, and it's a double bow. And what I would do is grab a glue dot, and I put the glue dot right in the corner here of our label, and then you can stick the bow right to it, It just hangs out right there. Trim your ends if you need to. And if they are the right length, just leave them. Completely up to you how long you like your tails. Hi, Melanie. And voila, as Kelly would say, we have our second card done. Look at that beauty. She says that a lot too. Look, it's a beautiful thing. Love it, love it, love it. You're like the rice-a-roni. You're gonna love it in an instant. Okay, 2 cards done, guys. All right, let's put this one back and see what we're gonna do next. Okay, we'll set him here. Which one? We want an easy one. Easy, easy peasy lemon squeezy. How's this one? This one is the tie card. And I did use the tie stamp on the inside, but I left the outside for all you have to do is stamp a sentiment. Woohoo! Easy, easy again. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. I got so much stuff. All right, grab our kit here. So this is a card. I cased this from a Halloween card. You guys, I did this as a paper pumpkin alternative, I think, from last year. So this is the card I cased. I got this. I'm like, oh, this will be perfect for the tie card. I saw a card on Pinterest that showed 3 ties like that. And I'm like, oh, let's do it on this sort of a layout. So that's what I was thinking in my head on this one. Hi, Jamie. And grab all of our pieces. So on this one too, you guys are going to have to be careful. You have 3 tie little parts, the knots on the top, and then you have 3 ties. So 3 little knots and 3 ties, like that. The piece of basic white, it's so hard not to say whisper white these days, so I'm done with it. Finally, we used my last piece of whisper white like through, I don't know, a month ago. So these are basic white, and it is embossed with the, let's see here if you guys can see that. It's Tasteful Textile. Oh, there you can see it. Tasteful Textile. It is my new favorite because Subtle is gone. So Tasteful Textile is here, the embossing folder that we used. And then I will have to make a disclaimer here that Terracotta Tile is retired. It officially retired on Monday. But I decided that I didn't care because the paper in the designer series paper matched Terracotta Tile. So you guys cannot buy Terracotta Tile right now. It's gone. But it's in your card, and we're going with it. So, so you have 2 pieces of white that are the same size. One is embossed and one is not. So this one is, and this one isn't, but they're the same size. One is your inside mat and one is your outside. The one that's embossed, just, isn't that funny? You flip it over, but it's the same on both sides, but it's just instinct to flip it over. So we're gonna take our liquid glue. There's no reason why we can't just adhere that already to our terracotta tile piece. Like that. Okay. Then let's set that off to the side. In your kit, you also have the little ribbon. You also have one of these little labels. The little label was made with the Tasteful Label Punch right here. Hi guys, I can see you. Okay, and then that's already punched for you, so you'll stamp a sentiment. And then your card base is your traditional 8.5 by 5.5. It is scored at 4 1/4, which is normal. But what happens then, after you burnish it, you can see there's another score line here. So in the middle of 4 1/4, it's 2 1/8. So at 2 1/8, I scored that. And when you bring that back, it basically makes it a different kind of a fold. So it opens like that, okay? So this is very similar to the kangaroo cards, you guys. So here was, remember we did these last week? In this case, I cut the flap off. And for this one, we left the flap on, okay? So it opens and then, yeah, okay. So what do we want to do here? We have a happy birthday to you. So you guys, that comes from this set right here, a happy birthday to you. What you can do is you get 2 sides to this punch, because when you punch, there's no rolled edge like dies give you. So if you don't like the way you stamp on one side, flip it over, and you can do the Night of Navy, which is what matches what we're working with tonight. So just to show you what I would do, ink that up, and then you're just gonna stamp a sentiment. Again, if you don't have this stamp set, whatever fits in here will work perfectly fine. So there we go. And what else? Our inside. There's a big tie. It's a big tie. Yeah. Originally I thought about stamping this and then using it, but the paper looks so cool just having it punched or a die cut like that. So we just used the stamp on the inside. So there's two different ties that come in this set. One with the squiggly lines. Oh, you can't even see that. One with the squiggly lines and then one with the little diamondies. And this tie is the hardest one to stamp, you guys. It's so hard to get it straight. I'll be honest with you. You want to? It barely fits on there, top to bottom, and that one got crooked on me. So you might want to just make it crooked on purpose, like it's leaning versus trying to get it straight up and down. Might do better for you. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, not bad. We can live with that. And it's your day. There's a little baby stamp called It's Your Day. And what I pulled in from another stamp set is just a sentiment I pulled in from A Good Man, which also carried over, is It's Your Day. It was really hard to figure out, like It's Your Day could work if you make this into a Father's Day card, or it could work for birthday card. But what we're gonna do is, I forget, this one seems like it was crooked when I stamped it the last time. So you guys know what I like to do. I like to grab a scratch paper, use my edge as a guide, and it is. So now I know that it's going clockwise too much. I'm gonna tilt it back and counterclockwise. That's how I do that. So this is before Stamp-A-Majigs were out. You practice and figure out how you need to hold your stamp. All right, so then you got that straight. That's it for stamping, guys. For this card anyways. So we had a sentiment, and then the tie on the inside. So what we can do, flip this over. We're gonna glue our inside in. Well, I'm gonna show you a trick actually. Cheryl taught me something last night. I'm gonna show you her trick on how to do that. So let's work on gluing our ties. People hated this last night. Well, they didn't hate it, but it was really hard to get your ties straight. I'm gonna tell you what I did with my ties though. I definitely like the look of the bottom kind of like popping out. So I put dimensionals on the bottom of each of the ties. And then I glued the rest flat. So it looks like it's kind of flopping out a little bit. So then liquid glue on the rest. So I like, as long as I got my glue bottle open, I'm gonna glue all of them like that. And now it's coming down to how they fit best on here. So I've got this guy and this guy. So I'm gonna do this one here first, and I'm gonna use that as a guide to figure out like how high, and the glue is on the top, so I can wiggle that up and down a little bit, where once I have it where I want it, then I'm just gonna gently set this one down, and then this one goes on the, so I'm working left and then right, and then I'm gonna center the last one. So this one is up about the same height and the same distance as far as the other one is away. And then this one's gonna fit in the middle. Same height down, so you have about the same white along the top. And then get it as good as you can, just like that. Then I like to press on it once you get it good. Okay. What you have to be very careful with this one is you don't wanna make a trick card and you don't wanna see anything here. I messed up. You can see here I messed up. I accidentally put tape there and I'm like, oh shoot. So originally when I cut all your ribbon, or I had my mom actually, she loves to cut the ribbon. So I had my mom cut ribbon with how I normally do it, where you start on the back and you go this way and this way. So you guys had too short a ribbon, and because there's 3 of them. So we recut all of your ribbons, but Nancy and Kathy, if you're watching, you're gonna have to piecemeal your ribbon a little bit because we use scraps for the rest of it. So how this works is you guys need to grab your tape, your double-sided tape or your tearing tape, and you're only gonna put adhesive on the back of the left side, okay? So a little tearing tape, and you have to wrap it all of the rest of you guys, besides Kathy and Nancy, you're gonna be able to wrap yours around 3 times. Kathy and Nancy, you have 2 pieces and you're gonna have to like kind of piecemeal it. Okay, so you're gonna look at the front here and you're gonna put your little tail so it's attached back here, and you will go around 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, okay? And you should have enough to end right on the tear and tape or your double-sided tape. Oop, there it goes flying. And I like to bunch them together a little bit closer. All right, so then your tear and tape sandwich happens. Put that over the top. And now I'm not gonna pick off the tear and tape backing. I'm gonna leave it because I wanna pop this up with dimensionals. So trim that little tail so it's not hanging out the edge. And so you've just secured your ribbon with the tear and tape. Don't take off the wax paper. Oh, we'll come back to these little knots in a second. But what we want to make sure is when this goes down on here that it can open and you don't want any adhesive here. So we're going to go about it the same way that we did the last one, where we're going to put adhesive on the edge behind the left side like that. But then on this one, we're going to do the adhesive on the right edge of our fold right here. I'm guessing how far down I need to come, and I'm guessing how far high I need to go so I don't go over. Pick those off. So I don't like to guess where my dimensionals go here, so that's why I do these 2 sides. And then now you're just going to center this on your card. Once you get it where you want it, then squish down on your dimensionals to help make sure they're good and snug. All right, so far so good. See, that was perfect. And now it comes for, we have 3 things left. We have our little sentiment tag, which you've stamped happy birthday. This ribbon creates a little bit of a bump. So if you put dimensionals, it's going to kind of be slanted. So what I like to do in that case is I create a channel with my ribbon. So I'm gonna take my glue scissors, and on the ends of your dimensionals, it's awesome because you have these straight lines. Well, they're not straight, they're kind of straight, but you can cut yourself a chunk like this, and that's gonna go on the top half. Oh man, I just threw a dimensional at myself. Get out of there, guy. Okay, and then you're gonna put a dimensional. So what we're doing here is we're creating a channel, and your baker's twine is gonna go right between that channel, and it won't cause it to be teeter-tottery. So now this is gonna go right over the top of our baker's twine, like that. And so now you've got it cushioned on the top and the bottom. Now, our little knots, this is gonna be a little tricky. So if you don't like it, change it, do it how you want. But I put a dimensional at the top, so you can see I use black dimensionals, so it's really hard to see them, but I put a dimensional at the top and I glued them flat on the bottom, okay? So black dimensional, you can see that this is the perfect opportunity to use black dimensionals, and I only have these bigger ones, so I'm just gonna use some ends here, and the dimensional goes on the top. So let's flip these all over, and we're gonna put on the top and the top. Oh, I picked that one off, and then we're gonna go on the top. As close to the top as you can get it. And then we're gonna put liquid glue on the bottom. So grab the glue. A glue dot could work too, but I'm just gonna put a little line of glue just along the bottom. So it makes it look like the knot is sticking out at the top. Make sure you get them lined up good. So this one, you'll match your ties up. And you gotta give that liquid glue a second to bond to the paper. So there's that one. And then that one. Let's see how many fingers you can use at the same time to work on your card. So you wanna hold all those down at the bottom. Now, if that's too much for you, just either pop them up or glue them flat. Really, it's up to you how you wanna do it. But if you don't give that glue time to adhere to your paper, like what happened on this one right here, is it starts to come up. And so I'm gonna take a little bit of liquid glue and put a little bit more liquid glue on that. This is my sample that was coming up. So there. It just makes it look like you got the knot and then the tie kind of goes in. I think that's, oh, we got to do our inside. So this is how I would do my inside. I would have put glue back here and just centered it. Top, bottom, left, right. That's how I would have done on it. But Cheryl taught me last night what she does is she puts her glue on the back and she lines it up like this so that you can see the terracotta equally around. So this is all contingent upon you putting this on straight. But she would do this, put glue here, and then shut her card. Give it a second to dry. Oh, you guys, we lost the camera again. Let's see if I think we lost the camera again. We lost it while I was doing the little knots. So I haven't done much since the knots. So let's start this over. See once what happens. You guys gotta see my smiling face until we get it situated. Let's see what happens. It popped back up. Let's see if this one goes a little bit easier. All right, there it is. Okay, so hang tight. I think we got it back. All right, so we should be good. Give it a second because you guys could probably still hear my voice the whole time. Let's just see if you can. You can't hear my voice. Let's see here if it's still going. I see that I was gluing a little knot onto a tie and then it kind of went bye-bye. So let's see if it's flipping. It should flip. Let's see here. Let's see if I go out and I come back in. Let's see what happens. I think you guys are still there. Let's see here. Oh, that's not the right video. Let's see here. So I know you guys should be able to see me yet. And we're almost done with this card and we have one left. And the one that we have left is, we're gonna do some heat embossing. So, okay. You guys might be okay. You know what? I was on my Carhartt. Is that why my phone was showing me delayed and you guys were good? You guys are gonna have to tell me if I was good this whole time and it was just my phone that was causing me problems. Oh my goodness. So I have, you guys, I think if you've been watching me, you know, I have two internets. I have one in my house and one out here. And if I don't have it set up to be my out here, I'm still going. You guys are good. You see me. No loss for you. That is because my phone connected to my house internet again. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're good. Okay. So you guys saw everything I did then, I think, right? I think you're good. So we were just showing you guys how to do this. So you could do Cheryl's way or you could do the other way, which is just put a little adhesive and slap it in here. I'm so excited that it was my phone. You guys were good to go. Woohoo! No, you guys, hey, we roll with the punches, right? It is what it is. So, boom, there's our card, our tie card. All right, we're rocking and rolling. We got 3 done, 1 more to go. All right, so three in the pocket. And last, but certainly not least, is our manly black and gray card. All right, that's the card, you guys. This one's the meaty card. There are a lot of pieces. So I made a card with Gina B back when this stamp was still good. I got this from Stampin' Up! Like about 15 years ago. And so this is a card that Gina and I designed, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And so I cased my own card with Gina to make this card. And so it's the same layout, but it's just different paper and different stamps. Okay, I call it the meaty card because there's a lot of pieces in here, guys. A lot of pieces. So let's make sure we got all of our pieces. Your base is going to be basic black. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So fold that in half and burnish it. Okay, that's good. Then you guys will have, I already did one embossing just because I could, but in your kits, you're gonna have, it layers in the order of top to bottom. So you have a piece of white, which you're gonna be like, why do I have the white? It's because I don't know who has silver embossing powder or not. And I didn't wanna take a chance that you guys don't have silver embossing powder. So I put in a piece of white that will fit right on top of here. And you guys could stamp a sentiment in black ink, because I have to guess that most of you have black ink. And so this is extra in case you need it. Okay, then you have here a piece of gray, basic gray that is embossed. You guys, here's another disclaimer. The Old World embossing folder retired on Monday, but they have bark now, and bark is very similar. So if you like the look of the Old World, you can get something similar with the bark. When I designed these cards, I had to use the Old World paper even though I knew it was gonna be retiring. So that piece of gray is a little sliver that goes right here. You have some Good Taste paper, so this is in Good Taste. It is embossed already with the Old World embossing folder, and that piece sits right on top of a basic black mat. You'll have some of the basic gray twine in your kit, and then you're more paper here, guys. So you have two basic gray mats. They're the same size. Don't worry about the one for the inside, one for the outside. They're the same. On the inside, a piece of basic white will mat on here with this little strip for decoration. And on the outside is the designer paper, which mats on here like that. Okay? So, lot of paper. So let's see what we got going on. So our inside has that double mat, so it matches the inside. I don't usually do two mats, but I thought, oh, it'll look really cool having the double mat. So this is embossed with silver embossing powder, and I'll show you that. You guys, also in your kit, you have some of these they're little diamonds. It came with circles, diamonds, and one other thing. Teardrops. So I could order this in the pre-order, and I only got one, and all the circles got saved for Monday night's class. So Monday night we're doing, or not Monday, it is Monday, but my club is Monday. For you guys, Thursday night, that little circle, I had to save all of them for your steering wheels. So if you're doing my May monthly class with me, you got the steering wheels. If you're doing this class with me, you guys got little diamonds in your kit. Okay, and that's all I have left after last night. So some people did teardrops, but they put them facing that they weren't teardrops. So you guys will see I have circles, but you have diamonds, okay? All right, so what first? I like to assemble things in top to bottom fashion. So this is a label that will get put on the card afterwards. So I'm gonna start with this In Good Taste mat right here, and we're gonna adhere that to the basic black mat. So I'm gonna use a little bit more liquid glue than I normally would. I'm gonna go through the whole thing like that, because when you glue down embossed pieces like this, they're bumpily, and so it's good to give them a little extra glue. So that's gonna go here. One thing I should have done is measured my black piece to my gray piece. You guys, if your black piece is a hair longer, you're gonna have to take your scissors and just trim it. So just a little check on that. So then we can glue our designer series paper to, this is the back side, that's the tie that we did. So you guys are going to adhere this designer series paper onto the gray piece. Just center it as good you can. And then this piece right here, a little bit more adhesive, we're gonna glue that. And I have it like there's about a square, and I'm gonna match it up with my one line here. There's a line right there. That's where I'm gonna line it up with. So you can go ahead and this gets glued on here. The black to the designer paper. And I'm lining it up so it's straight by using that line. Okay. And then we have some twine. So this is where I do my twine or ribbon conservation method. So it's not quite centered. It's actually to the left of the center of the gray piece here, that designer paper. So we're gonna make ourselves our tear and tape sandwich. So put your piece on the top and the bottom and grab the end of your twine, and we're gonna look at it from the front, and we're about a little bit to the left of the middle, and you're gonna secure your end with the tear and tape and straight, and now you're gonna weave it right back. So this is where we're not putting any ribbon right there. So bring this back up, and now we're going to bring it back, y'all, to the other side. So I cut myself a little bit extra, like a lot extra. You guys, I'm not sure where you're at with your string, but you should have enough to do 3 of them like that. You will not have enough to do 3 around, all the way around. You'll have enough to do it like that. So then look at the front, make sure it's good where you want it. You can spread these out a little bit more if you like that look, but I got 3, and we're gonna grab our tear and tape and put some over the top so that that won't sneak out someday on us. And now we're going to go ahead. So this came up in class last night, that, well, where do you put the twine behind? Would you have put it behind this black layer or this gray layer? I always try to put the twine behind the last layer that it's on. So in this case, it's most secure behind here versus behind this black piece. And grab your liquid glue, and that goes onto the front of our card like that. You guys, I had to do a non-blue card because the other 3 cards were blue. Thank you to Naughty Nancy for lending me a pack of navy paper. Between this card, this card, this card, and this card, I used about 5 packs of navy paper. I had 4, and Nancy lent me 1. So Nancy, you have a pack of navy paper waiting for you here. Okay. We're going to make this a Happy Father's Day card because that is the stamp that's in here. And I want to show you how to do a little masking with this. So I need to take care of business though here. Where's my scrap paper? I need to clean up some stamps really quick, guys, because, well, I had a piece of scratch paper here. I was going to clean some stamps really quick, but I don't know where I put my scratch paper. I was going to stamp off, but you know what? We're just going to put these behind us and worry about them later. Don't tell Brandon I did not clean my stamps. So this is what we have left now. This is our inside, and this is for our outside. So for you guys in class that don't have silver embossing powder, I included this extra piece of white, which fits on here. And what you can do is, where's our Happy Father's Day stamp? So this says, Happy Father's Day, handsome. Now, if you see on my card here, where's the handsome? It's missing. I took it off because I don't know if the person who's receiving this card is handsome or not. That was our joke last night, right? So what you can do is you can use memento ink. So if you don't have silver embossing powder at home, grab a black ink, and you're going to stamp your sentiment on the top of the white, and it's just going to have an extra layer of white. It's all good. That's working. Because if you don't have silver embossing powder, you don't have a heat tool, you need to stamp something on the outside here. So that's what this is for. If you have silver embossing powder and you're going to go that route, here's a scratch piece of paper or like an extra piece of white that you can use for anything. So I have an embossing buddy. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell them anymore, but I still use them. I promote them in class. I actually found this one at the used stamp sale for 50 cents. So you can find them around. You could use a dryer sheet if you don't have this, but what this does, it helps to take off any static electricity, any oils you have on your fingers from touching the paper. It just kind of helps it so powder doesn't stick all over the place. So I don't want the handsome. So I'm gonna take my washi tape and I'm gonna cover up the word handsome so that we don't accidentally get handsome on our card. And I'm gonna pull in, so I keep my embossing powders in a Tupperware like this, or Rubbermaid, or however. And we need a Versamark pad. So if you don't do the embossing, you're gonna just use black ink. But if you have the embossing, so this is what I stamped It's Your Day already. I did that one in the silver embossing powder, super cool. This one I did the Happy Father's Day. So now you're gonna ink up, make sure you're good and covered up. Oh man, it just fell off. This washi tape is not the stickiest of washi tape. So you're gonna ink up. The main thing you have to do is remember to take that off. Otherwise, it will give you ink all over. The trick, you have a piece of basic gray that needs to go here. So don't go stamping right in the middle. You have to stamp it closer to the top left, or to the top edge, because that's there. Don't worry about the handsome. So we're gonna go right about here. Same thing with this, let the ink soak into the paper. Don't squish so hard, because if you squish really hard, you might get a halo, and you don't want a halo unless you're an angel. And we're gonna go into here to get our powder. Now, the silver embossing powder changed. It used to be sold separately, and now it comes with gold and another color. Okay, so here's the thing. I like to cover it up right away, and I have a scoop in here that I can help pick up. So this is our leftovers that kind of fell outside of the jar. I'll clean that up later. But what happened here is I think part of the H left some extra residue here. So this is where, if you have, I went down to the cupboard, if you have a paintbrush comes in really handy. The H must have had some ink on it yet, some embossing powder from last night. So, not embossing powder, some Versamark. So you can take a paintbrush, it's really awesome. You don't have to use your finger then. You just scrape off or pick off any of the extra embossing powder that's on there, and you can see now it's gone. So this is gonna emboss up really nice. So paintbrushes come in handy. I should actually leave that right in my tool thing there. Okay, heat tool's gonna come on, guys. I'm not gonna say much while it's going, but watch it. It just is amazing. Embossing is the thing that got me stamping 20 years ago. So. It needs to heat up. Okay, there's good. Okay, watch this. Okay, did you see that I grabbed a clothespin? So do you ever wonder why I keep a clothespin on? I keep a clothespin on here is because for embossing, so that you don't burn your fingers. So what happens is the embossing powder is teeny tiny pieces of plastic pellets that get stuck where you have the Versamark, and then when you heat them up, they melt. It's so cool, so cool. I was ever gonna only have silver, black, and white, I think. All right, so have a Happy Father's Day on the outside. So in a stamp set called Happiest of Birthdays, which carried over as well, which is super cool, it has on here, it's your day, enjoy it. It is the perfect stamp to put your sentiment on the inside of this card, because I mean, it could be for anything. It could be for Father's Day, it could be for birthday, it could be for graduation, it could be for anything. So we are going to, what do we want to do? Does the person that wins this card, we're going to make Father's Day, because Father's Day is coming up. So, but on the inside here, we're going to stamp our inside, so we're done with our stamping. So this is another little scrap paper here that was from the end of cutting off your paper mats. So let's put that on the inside. So you have an idea though, let's put it on the left-hand side and put it as a guide. We're gonna inky dinky do this one really good. And that's gonna go centered now between this edge and the other edge. like that. If you don't like the way it stamps, you can flip it over and do it again. Put the guide back where it was and then go for it. Now, I'm thinking that it looked the way it did because that's the stamp. It is. So the stamp it's missing sections because it's a washed kind of look on the stamp. So sometimes what you think might not look good, it's missing chunks, is actually because that's the way the stamp is made. So, all right, now this little sliver here. Oh, Mary, you can hear me. You guys could all hear me. I see your comments come through that you could all hear me. So I'm so happy, you guys, that it was my internet on my phone. See, isn't that crazy? Like when you guys have issues with your internet, then now tonight I had issues with my internet. I guess we'll have that. Okay. So again, this is one where you may have to take and trim off the bottom of your designer paper. Then this will get glued on. We're gonna glue this on here to our basic gray mat. Just like so. This extra mat on the inside just makes it a little bit heavier of a card. And then a little bit of adhesive on the inside back here of our gray. And that's gonna go in here. Now, so many, if you guys ever have like the little bit of the corner that's hanging there, my paper trimmer, when it first starts out, sometimes it catches that funny. So if you ever get that paper from me where it's got that little extra overhang, just take your scissors and snip it off. It is okay. It's all science with cutting paper. There is adhesive. Nope, it's actually, there's a little dot on here that got some ink. So there's something called a sand eraser. Takes ink off. Okay. Inside, boom, good. Now we're back to our outside. So if you guys have that extra piece of white, you're gonna have to have it stamped and then you're gonna adhere it onto the black. And then once the black is ready, the black goes onto our basic gray. All the measurements for this one, all of them, all the cards, you guys, they're in the PDF tutorial. If for any reason, I know Faye, you didn't see the PDF tutorial when I sent it on the 30th. I think I sent it Friday over my lunch hour, if I'm not mistaken. If you guys ever don't get the PDF tutorial and you're missing it, just send me an email. I am happy to send it out to you, no problem. This one, we're gonna put some black dimensionals on the back of the gray. Let's see how many here. So 1, 2, we're gonna go for 4, guys. Oh, let's just use that one right there. Go for the gold, or the silver in this case, or the gray. All right. That piece is gonna go, I'm gonna center it between these little dots on the bottom, something like this. I'm starting on the left edge, making sure I'm straight, go to the right edge. If yours is too long, just trim that little edge off. And, oh, I did pop those up too. So let's grab our black dimensionals again. We're gonna go for 6. 1, 2, 3. Boom. And we're almost to the final countdown, guys. We hit 2 hours and 13 minutes, holy smokes. It was that first card, guys. That was a gourmet card. All right, so what I did on this one is I tried to figure out where it made sense, where my lines are. So I am gonna go, so I don't wanna see this line here, so I'm gonna go past it like that, and then I'm gonna go something like that and see what that side looks like. I'm good with that. If you wanna see more of your thread on the left here, you could go actually, if that is something that you want, you could bring it over a hair. So you see one of those twines here, that works too. So we could go like that. Okay. And then gems. gemsies. So I'm gonna use the teardrop ones here. You have to be very careful with these. It's like an epoxy on top of silver. And if you don't get it from underneath, they pop off. So how do we want to do this? So what Cheryl did last night is she made the teardrops go, oh, what's going on? Oh yeah, it's sticky. It's like, why aren't you sticking? So we're gonna put one so it's going that way, and we're gonna put the other one so it's going that way, so they don't necessarily look like teardrops then. But you guys have little diamonds. The diamonds would look good up in these top corners like that. Whoa, no, I'm trying to get the other one to be equal. It's so hard to make them even, so, okay. So you guys have your diamonds. I put them up there, depending on what you stamp too. On one of the cards, my sentiment down here, it looked, you could do it a little bit on the bottom there, so. All right. Oh, we did it. We got our fourth card made. So let's take a little gander and see all of them in one swoop. And we're gonna open that one up, do that one. You guys can tell me which one's your favorite. I'm always curious. So, I don't know, you guys, I love flowers. If you know me, I love flowers, but I love the shirt pattern there, and I love the different options that you get with all of the different die cuts. Now, thinking swap cards, you guys, this would be a cool card for a swap card. Nice, easy layout using a little paper and a sentiment. And then this layout's cool too. So I like them all. So these cards will be given away during the live next week, Thursday, which is the monthly class. So I'll set them off to the side here. And then we're going to grab the kangaroo cards, because the kangaroo cards are what we're going to go over next. We're going to give those away. I got lots of dirty stamps, you guys. Oh my goodness. So, all right, let me drink the water. All right, so what do we have next? Hi Zana. I am going to do the kangaroos, announce who won the kangaroos, and then we're going to do the top fan drawing. So I have my list here. I wanted to make sure I didn't forget that. So we had 68 people that were in the top fan. So I know some of you are still having problems with the top fan, and what you have to do is maybe talk to Danny Olson. So I think Christy Warren, you were going to reach out to Danny. I don't know if you ever did, but there is a way to turn on your top fan setting. And if you have a problem with it, I know that Danny put a Facebook post out there saying how she figured out how to do it. So I don't know what it was with the settings that Facebook changed, but some people lost their ability to be top fans. So I also want to announce who the Creative Challenge, the monthly Creative Challenge winner was, as well as the Class Card Challenge winner, and then the newsletter winner. So we had a lot of people that won things this week. So it was awesome. You guys, I keep a spreadsheet of everybody who's won something, just because I'm curious, like how many prizes I give away, how many cards I give away. And I started tracking it in August of last year. I used to track it, I had it June, July, and the information got lost. So I started over again in August. There was 270 prizes that were won, between gift certificates, between prizes like actual product, just top fan, Facebook stuff, like just crazy. I'm like 265, so, or 70. It was 200, it was high 260s, low 270s, somewhere around there. But all the cards that I make for class when I do them live, all those go out to people. So it's pretty crazy that it was that many. So that's awesome. Okay. So drum roll, when it comes to the monthly creative challenge and the class card challenge, Kelly and I decided a few months ago that we were going to take everybody that's in there and just do a random drawing. And there is criteria to be included in the drawing. You have to follow the rules for the monthly creative challenge, you have to do the themes and you have to do whatever the guidelines are. And then for the class card challenge, it has to be for a paid for class that either you got free for an order, so you paid for an order and got a class free, or it was from paying a fee. So if you paid the like $15 plus shipping or the $12 plus shipping, and it has to be, you put your cards in there. So we did a drawing, and you guys, if you read the newsletter, you probably already saw this, but monthly creative challenge winner was Roxanne Kilburn. Woohoo! Awesome, Roxanne. And then the class card challenge winner was Angela Knudsen. Woohoo! You girls are the lucky winners that will get something from my stash of prizes. So, Roxanne, I think if you're okay with it, I will put your prize in with, you're doing game night with me in June, and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks anyway. So if you're okay with it, I'll mail yours in June. And then Angela, you have an order here to pick up, so I'll throw in something for you. Anna Rebedu, woohoo! You were the winner of the newsletter drawing. So Anna won a $10 gift certificate that she gets to use with me in the month of May. I always put a hidden thing in the newsletter so that it says to be entered into the drawing for whatever month. Tell me what your favorite is of this, or tell me this, or tell me that. And then it's my way of knowing that you guys are reading the newsletter, because there's a lot of stuff in there usually. So, and then it makes it fun because you could potentially win a prize. So congratulations, Anna. You're amazing. So the winner chicken dinners. Let's see. Oh, Angela, yay. So you guys, if you don't know, my newsletter is available on my website. So my website is cardsbychrisb.com. There is a link for blog and news, and it's under the newsletter section, and it's in there every month. So we're going to do these guys first. Oh, the other thing, here's my current host code, but you can always find my current host code on my website. So if you're watching this video later in life or in time, and you try to place an order with the host code that's shown in the video, it could be expired or used already. So my website on the right-hand side underneath the picture of me always has the current host code. So you never should have to ask me for a host code. You could just look it up on my website and find it. So orders that you guys, right now, any orders that you place that are the minimum amount for a free class could be used for a class in May, which is May monthly. Well Suited is gone. You guys, 48 sets of cards gone, none left. But all my June classes that are fee-based classes, you could place an order and get a free class. So, all right, we had the kangaroo cards last week, Friday, you guys, April 30th. We put these cards together, and then I did go to the Y, I think afterwards. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I met Tyler there, and we worked out, and it was okay. Overrated, but he was happy. So these were the 5 kangaroo cards, and I loved how there was 5 different. So the kangaroos are still available. You've got flowers, the little baby, hearts, presents, and the envelope. All right. Oh, which one do we want to do first? Okay, I love this one. So let's do this one. Drum roll. All right, winner, chicken dinner. Jolene Try, you are the lucky winner of the kangaroo card with the envelope. So, lucky lady. Drum roll. And the winner of the kangaroo bringing some birthday love is Lisa Nealand. You are the lucky winner of that card. Drum roll. Winner, chicken dinner is Victoria White. I don't know if you can see that. Victoria White, your name was selected for that one. And the baby one, Christine Brady O'Hearn. Your name was picked for that one. Holy Moses. I think I said it right. Christine Brady O'Hearn, Hearn. So congratulations to you, girlfriend. And last but not least, the last winner of this kangaroo card was Debbie Schultz, Schuldt. But I have your address, Debbie. I have Jolene's and Lisa's, but I do not have Victoria and Christine. So you guys will need to send me your email addresses, not your email, your addresses, if you want me to send you some happy mail. Woohoo! Congratulations to all of you lucky ladies. And all right, so we have drum roll for our top fans. Brrr. All right, so I'm gonna have to go to my phone here, and we're gonna have to flip it to the internet day and put on here a random number generator. And we have 68 people. I got my pen ready. So out of 68 people, I'm gonna go ahead and pick generate. And when I pick generate, it's gonna tell me the number. 55. It's the law at Cup. Sue Sorrell, you are a top fan winner for the month of, this was April. So on April 30th, I pulled the numbers or pulled the names. So you will get a prize from my stash. All right, generate number 4, Julie Watts Voss. Julie Watts Voss, you are a winner chicken dinner for top fan in April. And last but not least, number 52, Wendy Kruger. Woohoo! I will have a prize for you. And I think, I'm trying to remember if you picked up your order or not, but I was going to throw it in the bag if you still had it. So congratulations to you 3 lucky ladies. That's awesome. So let's get back in here. You guys are awesome. Yeah, Luann, you're still having issues with your top fan. Let me see if I made sure that your name didn't show up in here. I don't see it in here. You're right. So you would have been number 69. So I would have added you as 69. So Luann, if you can reach out, I don't want to put Danny on the spot. I don't know if she's watching or not, but Danny was the one that had some guidance for us on how she got her top fan badge back, but I'm pretty sure she had lost it and she turned it back on. So that might be the next thing to do. And the last thing that we can do, because I can do what I want, it's my party, right? And you guys are always welcome to my party. And what I would do for you, Luann, is I know throughout the course of the month, I see you commenting and liking almost absolutely everything that I put out there. At the end of the month, if you see that you don't have a top fan, I will add you to my list here because I know that I see that you are a top fan without being listed as a top fan, and I would add you as on the list here. So, because I can make the rules like that if I want them to be, and especially if I know that I see you active on the Cards by Christine Facebook page, and you're liking and commenting, and I'm seeing that I like regularly, like everybody else that was on the list. I have no problem with adding you to that, as well as anybody else for that matter. If you're having problems with your top fan badge, I don't want to eliminate you from being part of this drawing just because Facebook is being stupid, right? Okay, so we can fix stupid in this case. All it takes is a little bit of communication between you and me, and I'm okay with that. So you just have to reach out to me because I'll be honest with you. When I look at the list of 68 names, I couldn't tell you if your name is missing from there or not because like now that you say that, yes, Luann, I see your name isn't there and it should be, but at me looking through this list, I can't say, oh my gosh, why is so-and-so not on this list? Okay, that's a lot for me to think about. So, but I don't mind adding you to the list if you know that you're not on here. But in the meantime too, we should figure out if Danny can help us figure out for you and for Christy why you guys aren't getting the top fan thing. So, but congratulations to the 3 lucky winners, Sue, Wendy, and Julie. Julie, I also don't have your address, but Sue, I do have yours, and Wendy, I know I have yours, and you get orders from me, so here at the house. So awesome, you guys. I know it took a little bit longer. That was 2 hours and 28 minutes of a lot of well-suited cards, and whew, you guys, this girl needs a snack. I'm hungry. We worked up an appetite stamping with you guys tonight, so what to expect. All right, I know I don't have anything planned with you guys until Thursday of next week for our May monthly class. If anybody else wants kits that's not local, please reach out to me and get signed up right away. I have some sets left, and I would like to get them in the mail to you so that you get them timely, and if you want to make your kits with me live in class. Class is next Thursday, and I always like to get them in the mail by Friday or Saturday. Monday is pushing it. So please let me know soon if you would like to place an order or pay for the monthly class for May. And thank you to everybody who has been signing up for classes in June. You guys, I leave a week from Saturday, which is in my head about a week, not even. And my goal on my trip is to not be on my phone all the time. And so all of you that have been RSVPing for all your classes through the end of June are amazing, and I appreciate it. And you're still amazing if you're not doing that, but I'm just saying I really appreciate those that have been, because though that 2-week window, then you don't have to tell me what you're going to be doing the first week of June or the second week of June, and I can concentrate on having fun with my family on my trip. So that's awesome. And you guys know too, I don't care if you want to pay for it or place an order for a class or when you want to pay for it, as long as it's by the deadline. I want to get your name on the class list so that I can mentally prepare before I leave, because my helpers are going to be cutting the chicken kit class, the chicken cards, and the Kellogg launch party cards. I'm going to strategically guess how many I need to prep and have all the pieces in their hands for them to die cut and emboss next week. So the more of you guys that sign up early, just to get your name on the list so I know, then I'm not going to have to make an extra 8 or 12 or 16 kits next month. I will have it good. So let's say I have 36 signed up for a class. I'm going to prep for 48. And I'm going to base that 36 number off of how many of you guys are signed up by, like, let's say Tuesday, because that's when I got to start cutting that stuff. So I appreciate that. So even if you guys aren't ready to place the order to get the class for free or pay for it because it's a June class, like at the end of June, even just telling me to get your name on the list is amazing and beneficial to me. So I really appreciate it. So, okay, cool beans and bagels. All right, you guys, it's officially 8:30 and I need to get some food and get some water in my system. And I hope you guys enjoyed the well-suited cards with me tonight. If you don't get those dies or you don't have those dies yet, really think about it, because they could make some pretty cute and amazing specialty cards for people in your life that are themed with different attire. So very cool. Think Halloween costumes too with those dies. You can make something really cool. So you guys, if I can, I'm going to pop on sometime over the weekend and do a quick little Facebook Live, definitely going over the host special again in more detail and going over signing up to be a Be Happy Stamper in more detail. And then plan to watch Tip Tuesday on Tuesday, and then we'll have Technique Thursday on Thursday. So we got some stuff coming, but that's more scheduled. The weekend will be a little bit random when I can find some time to pop on. Tom, my brother, is coming to visit, and I'm putting him to work. He's going to be helping me with product shares and DSP samplers this weekend. He wants to play Dr. Mario and work out. I'm like, no, there's no time for that. We have to work on stamping stuff. So we compromised and we're going to do a little bit of everything. So, all right, you guys, lots of sunshine and love and hugs to you. I love you guys. We'll see you later. Bye.